God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul, and allow yourself to remain here for a moment longer without rushing your attention elsewhere." This message does not arrive to pressure you or to pull you out of your life, but to gently invite you into a space of calm awareness where understanding can unfold naturally. There are moments when the heart recognizes a pause not as interruption, but as alignment, and that recognition is quiet yet unmistakable. You may notice that something within you chose to stay, even if you did not consciously decide to. That choice did not come from urgency or fear. It came from a softer place, a place that sensed comfort rather than demand. Comfort does not shout. It settles. When comfort settles, the mind relaxes, and the heart opens just enough to listen. As you remain present, notice how your breathing begins to slow, how your shoulders may soften, and how the noise of the day fades slightly into the background. These are signs that your inner world is responding to gentleness. Gentleness restores balance. Balance allows clarity to form without effort. There are seasons when clarity does not come through answers, but through reassurance. Reassurance reminds you that you are not behind, that your pace is valid, and that growth does not need to be dramatic to be meaningful. Growth often happens quietly, strengthening you in ways that only become visible later. You may feel a sense of familiarity in this calm, as if you have known this stillness before. That familiarity is your inner self recognizing alignment. Alignment does not demand change, it supports it. When you feel supported, you move forward with less resistance and more trust. This message is not asking you to look back with regret or forward with expectation. It invites you to be here, fully, without needing to fix or figure anything out. Presence itself is enough. Presence allows understanding to mature at its own pace, without being rushed or forced. As awareness deepens, you may notice that comparison begins to lose its hold. Comparison thrives on speed and distraction. In stillness, it fades. What remains is authenticity, and authenticity feels lighter because it does not require performance. It simply allows you to be. There is permission here to rest your thoughts. Rest is not avoidance. It is restoration. Restoration gives you the strength to continue with clarity rather than exhaustion. When energy is preserved, decisions become gentler and more aligned with your values. You may also sense a quiet confidence forming, not based on certainty, but on trust. Trust in your ability to adapt, to learn, and to move forward with patience. Patience is not delay. It is wisdom choosing timing over haste. Stay with this calm unfolding. There is no need to rush ahead. This message continues gently, building on this steadiness, offering deeper grounding and reassurance as it moves forward. What follows will expand this sense of balance, helping it settle into you in a way that stays long after this moment ends. As you remain here, allow the calm you touched earlier to settle even deeper. Calm does not arrive all at once, it layers itself gently, like still water becoming clearer the longer it is undisturbed. You may feel that clarity beginning to form, not as answers, but as steadiness. Steadiness changes how you experience everything else, even things that once felt uncertain. There is a quiet reassurance unfolding now, reminding you that nothing about your journey has been wasted. Moments that felt slow were not empty. They were shaping patience. Moments that felt confusing were not failures. They were teaching discernment. When seen through calm awareness, every season carries meaning, even when it did not feel clear at the time. You might notice that your inner dialogue has softened. Thoughts still come, but they no longer push or pull as strongly. This softening is important. A softened mind listens better. When the mind listens, the heart speaks more clearly. And when the heart speaks without being rushed, it guides you with honesty rather than pressure. As awareness deepens, there is a growing sense that you do not need to rush toward understanding. Understanding arrives naturally when there is space for it. Space is created when you stop demanding certainty and allow curiosity instead. Curiosity opens. Demand closes. Openness invites insight to stay. There may be parts of you that have carried questions quietly for a long time. Questions about timing, direction, or purpose. This moment does not force answers to those questions. Instead, it offers something more stable: trust. Trust that clarity will come when it can be held gently, not when it is chased. You may feel a subtle shift in how you relate to your own pace. Your pace begins to feel acceptable. Valid. Yours. Progress does not need to be fast to be real. It needs to be aligned. Alignment feels calm. Calm allows consistency. Consistency builds confidence that does not depend on outside approval. There is also a quiet reminder here that comparison has never been a reliable guide. Comparison distracts from authenticity. Authenticity, on the other hand, feels grounding. It allows you to move forward without needing to perform or prove. When performance drops away, energy returns. As you stay present, you might notice your breathing finding a comfortable rhythm. Rhythm brings harmony. Harmony allows your thoughts, emotions, and intuition to work together rather than compete. When they work together, decisions feel less conflicted and more natural. This message is not asking you to become someone new. It is gently inviting you back to yourself. Back to your natural rhythm. Back to the part of you that knows how to listen without rushing, how to rest without guilt, and how to trust without needing guarantees. There is permission here to release the pressure of having everything figured out. Pressure narrows awareness. Release expands it. Expanded awareness sees options where pressure only saw obstacles. With expanded awareness, patience feels supportive rather than limiting. You may sense a growing confidence now, quiet but steady. This confidence is not based on certainty of outcomes. It is based on trust in your ability to respond wisely as life unfolds. This kind of confidence lasts because it does not depend on perfect conditions. As the calm continues to deepen, notice how distractions feel less compelling. Not because you are resisting them, but because your inner space feels fuller. Fullness does not need constant stimulation. It rests comfortably, knowing it can engage when needed. There is a gentle integration happening now. What you felt earlier is settling into understanding. What you understood is settling into trust. What you trusted is settling into peace. Peace here is not an escape from life. It is a steadier way of being within it. Stay with this unfolding presence. There is no need to move ahead too quickly. This message continues to build quietly, preparing a deeper sense of grounding that will soon gather everything together in a way that feels complete, supportive, and lasting. As you continue listening, something even deeper begins to unfold within you. It may not feel dramatic or overwhelming. Instead, it feels steady, like standing on firm ground after a long walk. This steadiness is important. It is the kind that does not fade quickly, because it is built quietly, layer by layer, through understanding rather than urgency. You may notice that your inner world feels more organized now. Thoughts arrive, but they no longer collide with each other. They seem to line up, giving each other space. This is clarity forming naturally. Natural clarity does not force decisions. It prepares you to make them when the time feels right. There is also a gentle awareness growing that you have already been stronger than you realized. Strength is often misunderstood as pushing through everything. True strength is knowing when to pause, when to soften, and when to listen inwardly. You have been doing this more than you give yourself credit for. As awareness deepens, there is a quiet shift in how you relate to uncertainty. Uncertainty no longer feels like an enemy. It feels like an open space where possibilities can form. When uncertainty is met with calm, it becomes creative rather than stressful. Creativity opens paths that pressure could never reveal. You may feel a sense of compassion toward yourself rising now. Compassion is not weakness. It is wisdom recognizing effort. When you acknowledge your effort, even in silence, something inside you relaxes. Relaxation allows energy to flow more freely, instead of being blocked by self-judgment. There is reassurance here that you do not need to hurry your growth. Growth that is rushed often feels unstable. Growth that is allowed feels rooted. Rooted growth supports you even when conditions change. It does not collapse under pressure because it was never built on pressure to begin with. As you remain present, you may notice how your body responds. Perhaps there is ease where there was tension, or warmth where there was tightness. These responses are subtle confirmations that your inner system recognizes safety. Safety allows deeper listening. Deeper listening brings insight that stays. You may also sense that the need to compare your path with others continues to fade. Comparison thrives on noise and speed. In stillness, it loses its power. What remains is authenticity. Authenticity feels calm because it does not need to be explained or defended. There is a growing trust forming now. Trust not in specific outcomes, but in your ability to meet whatever unfolds with clarity and balance. This trust does not depend on certainty. It depends on presence. Presence keeps you grounded even when answers are still forming. As this message continues, notice how patience feels different now. Patience no longer feels like waiting for something to happen. It feels like allowing something to mature. Maturity brings stability. Stability brings confidence that does not fluctuate with circumstances. You may sense that your inner rhythm has slowed to a pace that feels natural. This rhythm is yours. It does not need adjustment to fit expectations. When you move in alignment with your rhythm, decisions feel less forced and more intuitive. There is also a subtle integration happening. What you felt earlier is becoming understanding. What you understood is becoming trust. What you trusted is becoming peace. Peace here is not passive. It is active steadiness. It allows you to engage with life without losing yourself. Stay with this awareness. There is no need to rush toward completion. This message is still guiding you gently, preparing the ground for a final sense of wholeness and closure that will arrive naturally, without pressure, in the next part. As this message gently reaches its final movement, allow yourself to stay present without feeling the need to do anything next. There is no instruction here, no expectation placed upon you. What matters is the sense of quiet wholeness that has slowly formed within you. Wholeness does not feel dramatic. It feels steady, natural, and grounded, like standing in a familiar place after a long journey. You may notice that your inner world feels more settled now. Not because everything has been resolved, but because the need to rush toward resolution has softened. This softening is meaningful. When urgency loosens its grip, wisdom becomes easier to access. Wisdom does not push. It guides calmly, allowing you to move forward without leaving yourself behind. There is a gentle realization forming that staying here was not about missing out on anything else. It was about reconnecting with something essential. Connection restores balance. Balance allows you to engage with life from a place of clarity rather than exhaustion. When clarity guides you, even simple moments feel more intentional. You might feel a sense of gratitude arise, not forced, not dramatic, but quiet and sincere. Gratitude does not always need a reason. Sometimes it appears when the heart feels supported. Support reminds you that you are not navigating everything alone, even when you are physically by yourself. As you remain aware, notice how your thoughts feel less crowded. Space has opened between them. Space is where insight lives. Insight does not demand attention. It waits patiently until you are ready to notice it. That patience is a gift you can return to whenever you choose. There is reassurance here that you do not need to carry everything forward. You are allowed to release what no longer serves you, gently, without judgment. Release is not loss. It is alignment. Alignment lightens your steps and steadies your direction. You may sense that your inner rhythm feels clearer now. This rhythm is personal. It does not need comparison or approval. When you honor your rhythm, choices feel more natural. Natural choices require less effort to maintain, because they are rooted in authenticity. There is also a subtle confidence present, not loud, not performative, but reliable. This confidence is built on trust in your ability to respond thoughtfully to whatever unfolds. Trust of this kind does not disappear when circumstances change. It adapts. As this message completes, recognize that nothing here was meant to replace your life. It was meant to support how you live it. Support does not restrict movement. It strengthens it. Strength formed through calm awareness lasts longer than strength formed through pressure. You can carry this steadiness with you into ordinary moments. How you pause before responding. How you listen without rushing. How you allow yourself rest without guilt. These small shifts quietly shape a more balanced life. This is not an ending. It is a gentle return to yourself. You can revisit this calm whenever you need to. It does not require special conditions. Only a willingness to pause and listen again. If this message resonated with your soul, you may softly like this video so this calm presence can reach others who may need it today. If it feels natural, share it with someone who could use reassurance. For more spiritual messages that offer grounding, clarity, and peace, you can subscribe and stay connected. And if this moment felt meaningful to you, gently comment Amen as a quiet affirmation. Remain kind to yourself. Trust the steadiness you touched here. It continues with you, quietly supporting your steps, your choices, and your journey forward. If this message resonated with your soul, don't forget to like and share so this divine energy reaches more hearts. Subscribe now for daily spiritual messages and comment, Amen, to affirm your faith and blessings.